My wife has got into doing, and God knows why, all those quizzes, Josh. You know, the ones that you can do on stuff, the Otago Daily Times, the New Zealand Herald
Oh,
runs one
yeah,
now.
I know the
You
ones.
know, the quiz of the day?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
You know,
do it
it's
in
just,
the office here.
that's exactly right. They do it in the office. And that's so she goes to her office and they do it in the office. Okay. So unfortunately, this has now got her motivated to come home and say, oh, I didn't do X today. And I go, oh, God. And so I usually get roped into it, Josh. All right. So last night we were doing one of the quizzes, and I think it was it the Otago Daily Times quiz, which is, very, very Dunedin and Otago centred, as you can expect. So, and there was a question there, Josh. And you know what that question was, Josh? It was this. How many school lunches are delivered in New Zealand every day? Obviously during the school term. And they gave you four choices. There was 14,044, 444, 24,444, 144,444, and 244,444. And I went, oh, well, it won't be the top one, obviously. No, it must be, I'll say it's 120. I was wrong, Josh.
Oh, I would have gone that way as well, actually.
So would I. Exactly, Josh. 244,000 school lunches will be delivered into New Zealand today. Well, at least according to the Otago Daily Times quiz. And then I looked that up and went, oh my God, that's right. And all I can say is there are now stories being run by Radio New Zealand. Who else? Because Radio New Zealand is it's basically the CNN of New Zealand. Hates the government, has decided to become the unofficial opposition. The only difference is that at least CNN's privately owned, but Radio New Zealand owned by us to attack our government. All right. So where else would I find the story except on Radio New Zealand News this morning that nearly a third of schools receiving free lunches. Free lunches. I'm glad that we use that word free. They're not free, dear. From the School Lunch Collective have contacted the Ministry of Education with queries and complaints. In the first 2 weeks. All right. And there we go. And there's apparently some, and a series of school principals, most I note living in Wellington or very close to it, are saying that they're not happy about it. But there have been some initial delivery problems, says Vaughan Couliant from Papatoetoe High School. We've had them on. But they had not recurred, and he said he was eating the food, so he knew what was going on, and said many of the complaints about it were caused by its appearance. It's mostly about the size of the packaging and it needing to be smaller, which squishes everything in. But it tastes okay. There's a range of meals on offer, and not everyone is going to be your favourite every day, but ours are getting consumed. It's fine. So that's the official verdict of the president of the New Zealand Secondary School Principals Association. He said the favourite meal among students appeared to include meatballs and butter chicken, while a recent vegetable lasagna had not proved so popular. All right, so there you go. The really interesting thing to me is that, you've got a school principal eating the school lunches. So that's exactly what we wanted to happen, Vaughan. I don't mind you taste testing, but if you think that all the school teachers now are going to be eating school lunches, just quietly.
Kind of shows how popular it is, really, isn't it?
Well, yes, that's exactly right. And who knew that we were subsidising school teachers now to eat the school lunch as well? But the second aspect of this that worries me is, if you don't like the school lunches, can I tell you, and this is to all of New Zealand, but particularly to the parents of children receiving school lunches, can I give you one piece of advice? Do your bloody job as a parent. Make your kids a lunch. Don't expect that the state's got to do the most basic of parental responsibilities, because you are a lazy, useless bastard. And I will tell you now, if you are a parent that is relying upon the state to feed your child, you are a lazy, useless bastard. You're not poor. You're not disadvantaged. You are a lazy, useless bastard. And I am sick and tired of people like you complaining about the amazing amounts of money and time and effort and energy that go into giving your child a meal that they don't like. Oh, boo-hoo, because you can't do your job as a parent. Now, if you can't do your job as a parent and feed your parent, you need to be asking yourself a really simple question. Should I be parenting my kids at all? I'd put them up for adoption, quite frankly, if you can't do that. And if you are reliant, and then here's another question for you. So you can't feed your kids during school time. What happens to those poor little kids, or poor big kids, when it's school holidays or the Christmas holidays or it's the weekend? Listen, for those who complain and moan about the new school quality school service, there's one really simple answer. You could actually decide to become a parent again. It's not hard. And if you can't provide lunch for your child, then you are not fit to be a parent, shouldn't have had them, and I'd be seriously thinking about adoption, whāngai them out to your relatives, hopefully some of whom have got a bit more money than or sense than you have, and frankly somebody who really loves children rather than you, because you don't love your kid if you're not providing them with a school lunch, and I will say that to you directly. It annoys me so much.